Actually, hold on. Just make my own jingle.
Yeah.
Or you want to make, you got your autotune thing? You want to make your own? You make a little jingle and I'll say it. Just place your the speaker like right where, yeah, right about there.
Hey, scoopity boop boop, it's beautiful night. Boop 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 boop. Hey, scoopity boop boop, it's beautiful night. Boop 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 boop. This is so ridiculous, dude.
Các bạn đang lắng nghe những tiếng vàng rực rỡ.
I think that's the funny thing that you and I talk about, you know? Like, I don't know. For like street photography for us nowadays, it's just fucking meme. Like, just people doing the most ridiculous thing or something that's straight goofy. I don't know why, but like, why is Vietnam so good at that? Why do we have so many goofy characters?
We have, I wouldn't call it a trend, but I also would call it a trend just because we only have we have been noticing this lately. You know, the rise of meme pages like Vietnamese cursed images.
Yeah.
Backyard the Heavens.
Like, I'm a big dude.
I'm a big dude. The account run by I don't know who.
I think it's just some skaters.
Freakers.
Yeah.
I think someone from Freakers is running that page. That like Tinder screenshots.
Yeah.
Page. And like I think like growing up in Vietnam has a very special place for comedy. Like we value comedy, we value humor a lot, but I never really saw humor like the kind of humor we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre, but it's so relatable at the same time. Like I laugh every time. I don't think I go on Facebook, I go on Vietnamese cursed images or Backyard of the Heaven.
Yeah.
It's always funny.
But then like we saw because of like phone, we also have like these really goofy gangster culture that's starting to appear. And oh man, I love them so much. There's that video that you sent me where he's like eating a bowl of ramen and then
it's like add more cocaine to this or whatever.
It's like it's not good enough.
Yeah,
can you add more cocaine?
Yeah.
And because they are legit gangster, you can see them putting real cocaine into the ramen bowl. Yeah. And it's just that bizarreness that I don't know, it's just funny. It is to me.
Isn't it weird that is actually a source of humor?
Yeah.
For us, because I actually don't know if they're real. I mean, they're probably real. I think all those people are real. I don't know their names. I don't know all of their names, but I know there's a pretty famous one, and we see him a lot on that page, and also other meme pages. Yeah. His name is Hung, I think, or Hung, Hung. I'm not sure, but it's Huan.
Yeah.
Also, all of them are northern, by the way.
Yeah, they're all northern.
They're from the north.
Their rise to fame is Facebook Live and YouTube.
Yeah, they go on. Essentially, these gangsters go on Facebook and they live stream.
Yeah,
and essentially they kind of do like what streamers over here do. They pose questions like Q&A.
Yeah, but the difference is that they are very, very righteous.
Yeah,
every time, full of virtues. Saying, and then they go and do the complete opposite.
Yeah, because they get on their high horse and then they preach about life.
Yeah.
Like, don't do this, don't do that. In life, you only trust, your brothers.
They would quote like the Buddhist mantra. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like some of these other part of the culture in Vietnam is so eerily reminded me of like early 2000
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Early 2000, early
It's
90s.
definitely coming back, especially with the gangster culture.
Yeah, dude. That culture is freaking goofy.
Yeah.
It's like that video of the guy, he had on like a full leather suit and full gold, like from neck to bottom. It's like, and he's like, his wife is like,
his wife's like filming, and he's like, he's like in a fitting room, right?
Yeah.
And he's basically just checking himself out.
Yeah, he's doing poses.
Yeah.
And then his wife was just complimenting him like, oh, Jackwa.
He's like, oh, like nhìn cũng được.
Those gangsters, they are a phenomenon, because I went down the rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah.
For the most part, these guys, what do you call them? But
Yang Hong.
Right. But what they do is they, like, if you have they basically a debt collector. Like
Yes, yeah.
They like, they provide arms for, I don't know,
For
whoever,
like loan sharks,
basically, and go collect money for these people.
Right.
And when what's funny is that, like, when they go out and threaten people in the face with knives and machete, the whole time it's just very, very virtuous speeches that it sounds so nice, but then they also add in like such like horrid, like, verbal garbage at the same time, like horrendous language mixing in with this very righteous kind of stuff. Oh my god, it makes for the best stuff.
The duality of man, right?
Yeah.
you can be
like,
virtuous.
Meanwhile, like, the person, the person they trying to collect debt for, is just sitting in the corner crying.
Yeah. From what I know about these gangsters, they're a bit like Yakuzas. They have codes of honor.
Yeah.
They have history. They have a lot of what do you call it? Like, even though for them, like, doing this sort of this line of work is because society forces them into it, right?
Sure.
And like, yes, they'll show up at your house with knives, with jars of mam tôm, jars of basically stinky food. They'll toss that stuff inside your house.
Right.
They'll splash pig's blood all over your front door. Basically intimidate. Those are by the way, those are intimidating tactics. Yeah.
There's that other one where and they just bring like a table, some food, and they just squat in front of your house because they obviously brought weapons, and you're too afraid to run away from their house. You're too afraid to open the door for them. So what do? They bring chairs, lawn chairs.
They just
beers,
camp out, right?
Yeah, food, and they just camp out, and they they have a party in front of your house. Meanwhile, having that party, they routinely and taking turns yelling obscenity into your house and around your neighborhoods.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people in Vietnam still borrow money from just other people.
Yeah.
We don't have a reliable banking system. So most people, well-to-do people, when they need money, they just borrow from
like
some
really sketchy sources.
Some really sketchy sources, and with a super, super unreliable contract, drawing,
really crazy amount of interest.
Yeah, a crazy amount of interest. And well, what do? Well, you need money, right? And so you go down that path, and you borrow money, and then more circumstances come up, and you can't pay them back. Naturally, the loan sharks will just send gangsters to your house to ask for that money, to intimidate you, to threaten you, to make your house look really bad on paper too. That's also a tactic. They'll contact like the local government, sort of county office equivalent, and they're like, well, this house has terrible foundation, make sure when they sell it later on, to tell the the inspectors that, or to tell the buyers that.
Yeah.
Essentially ruin your whole life just because you can't pay them back.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, about these gangsters. Yeah, no, but then at the same time, they think they're just good old boys.
Yeah.
They have like a good, very strict code of honor. We all remember that little short film that Kha Banh made about the brotherhood essentially between like my job is to go intimidate good people, but at the same time, I won't stand for betrayal or violence if it's whatever, right? It's always some Robin Hood type of bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know why they tried to between gangs and gangs we should be peaceful. We should only intimidate the people that owes money because they are the scum of the earth.
And then back to these more modern gangsters who are actually going on Facebook and live streaming. They're teaching life lessons to the youth. And that's kind of concerning because I know I think my nephew watches those videos. And then he sends those to me, and then I watch those videos. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. Kids can't be watching this.
Right,
This is bad.
It's actually some idiot.
It's
gangster.
not good advice. Okay.
What was that video with Kha Banh? And he's like being super virtuous, and then somebody asked him about like, how do you become healthier? And he's like, you're not healthy because you don't do meth.
Yeah, it's just do meth, right?
If you do meth,
if you pop pills.
If you pop pills, look.
Yeah.
And then he went into the math of it.
Yeah.
I was like, look, it's even cheaper for you if you just do meth.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
yeah,
I can't argue with those numbers.
Has a point. He showed us the numbers. That segment was funny when he was trying to he was trying to tally up the cost of buying some medicine.
Yeah. Versus
like buying a gram of something.
Well, how much money you got on?
Yeah. I have enough for.
Exactly.
I either go to Kroger and pick up some pills, some medication,
or half of that price,
and
you can drop some meth.
Yeah.
Feel strong. Feel faster.
Yeah. Defeat COVID-19.
Maybe that's what we need. just meth.
Maybe Kha Banh was right after all.
Hey.
Yeah.
Free him. Free Kha Banh 2020.
Free Kha Banh. That's maybe that's why we're going through all this.
Yeah.
Maybe because Kha Banh's in prison. Oh God. Yeah. It's I think we figured it out. You know? And this is it.
I hate that guy, man. He gave rise to the dumbest haircut ever. You can't even call that a mohawk.
It's a mullet.
It's a mullet, but it's such a.
It's a mullet with a lot of hair in the in the front. Somehow it feels like there's a lot of hair, and it's also not long enough to be a mullet. I feel like
it's like it looks like a horse mane.
That's true.
Exactly like a horse mane. If you imagine, it's a bad look, but
amazing outfits though.
The outfit, flawless.
The slim fitting jeans, the flip flops.
Yeah, and then always like really nice shoes.
Yeah. Wait, you mean nice shoes? I always see him in flip flops.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking of something else. The flip flops.
Yeah. Nice chains though. Like this. Actually, no. That's on the other gangsters. I think we have right now we have four or five celebrity gangsters, which is strange because, sometimes I wonder man, how much are they paying, the police to not arrest them?
Or how does the police view them? You know, because
Kha Banh got arrested only because he smashed that scooter. I think. Yeah. I think that was the only crime that got him some attention from the police. Then again, actually, is it verified that Kha Banh is actually a gangster? It seems like he acts like one, but I'm not really sure. Those other guys are probably real gangsters for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, they're more believable.
Right. Are they? Maybe there are real gangster elsewhere, and these are just the
The
just
caricature,
like,
right?
Yeah, just like the caricature, like the idiots
Yeah.
that like attention and you know. Because I can't imagine somebody who's like doing really shady works, but also
Also
loves
going on Facebook.
right
Yeah.
and promoting I don't know stupidity. But yeah, dude, I love it. I love these gangster dudes. This is so funny.
Yeah. It's something that I think there's very interesting like layer, like I still don't understand how sort of criminal justice system in Vietnam
Works.
like how it works, right? Because you have a lot of, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like there's
Wait,
a lot
in
of
Vietnam, let's say you're arrested
yeah.
and you don't have a lawyer. Do they appoint you to an attorney or how does that work?
I just now realized I don't know anything about the justice system in Vietnam. It
It seems
only
like they
know-
just sit the criminal down
yeah.
and then that the judge is like, let's just make him do some time.
Yeah. For some reason, my only impression of the justice system in Vietnam is through like popular media, just like movies and stuff. And whenever you watch like a crime movie a Vietnamese crime movie,
Yeah.
they never focus so much on the law, it's usually just like good and bad, good versus evil.
Right.
You have a criminal, you have some good cops. They catch the criminal, they bring the criminal to court, and then like 2 minutes later, he's out on the firing range.
Yeah.
As in he's a target. And at the same time, we also don't, well, up to a point. For as long as I was there, I never studied how government and law work. I think that's something that I don't think Vietnamese high school curriculum has like government, like the equivalent of the U.S. government over here.
Yeah.
I don't think we even study that because I feel like, not to say that Vietnamese government doesn't want kids to not know about how government works. I think it's assumed that everybody should know already how government works. And yeah, I don't know. It's strange. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I actually don't know how anything works, actually. Like, I went to the voting booth once, and my dad took me. I was way young. I think because he had to babysit me, and then he also had to go vote. And so he took me to the voting booth. And I just remember like just being in a hot room waiting, and I asked him like, how did it go? And he was just like, well,
What do you mean how to go? There's only one party.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I cast my vote. Just, didn't have to think too much about it. And then obviously later on I found out, there's only one party. So, and then that's it. I really don't know how, do we even have like, I don't think we have like Miranda rights, due process. Do we have due process?
Dude, Miranda right? Are you kidding me? Have you seen those cop videos?
They just tackle. There's absolutely no.
There's tackles or you pay your way out of it. And there's not enough police to do all the policing work.
Yeah.
And that's why the other phenomenon in Vietnam is the vigilante.
Oh, yes. Hip Say.
Yeah, Hip Say.
Which translates into knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are knights. But basically what they do is they imagine like in America the equivalence is like a civilian arrest, which makes no fucking sense really. But
neighborhood patrol.
Yeah, neighborhood patrol. But these people take it up to another level where it's a level of vigilante where, let's say you got your phone snatched last week, right?
Yeah.
Well, you contact this group of men. They go out, they do their research, somehow able to locate the, criminals that did did the act and then, harassed them almost.
And also make a YouTube video out of
all this while, also somehow
directing a short film.
Yeah, basically.
Right. There's a few popular groups of these nights, of these hipsy. And they have some pretty good, like, solid content, which also makes me become a little suspicious.
Right.
Like, how real are these, crimes they're solving?
Yeah.
Could they be setups? Could they be just skits just to kind of gather popularity? The hipsy phenomenon is real, though. Like,
it's real. It's very real.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of groups, and actually they're actually out beating criminals.
Yeah.
Finding stolen items and things like that. Except they don't make YouTube videos. The ones that are making YouTube videos are the more, I guess, well-known ones.
Yeah.
But then again, they have so much fame that it, again, makes them a little sus. And I don't really know if, like...
No, because, like, I think the video also serve as, like, evidence as well.
Yeah.
For them and their action as well, right?
Yeah.
But then it also get into that territory of, like, some of the time when they are, make the citizen arrest, they kind of slap the people.
Yeah. It's entertaining, I guess, to watch at the same time. Especially the fact that we're really removed from it. But then if you think about, you actually really think about that act, it's really violent.
Yeah.
It's kind of unnecessary. Just like that video that I showed you of that group arresting the chicken people.
Oh, yeah. That was weird.
That's also a weird story. I'm not going to get into it right now. Maybe you know what? The story of the chicken people will be on Patreon. So if you want to know about chicken people, knights, vigilantes, head over to our Patreon. If you head over to Patreon right now, I don't think the story will be up there, but it'll be up there soon. So, but yeah.
Oh, hey, sorry for the interruption. We going to get through this ad real quick, then we'll be right back with you.
And we're back from the break. Do you want to talk about some questions that we saw posted on social media regarding questions relating to photography? Just kind of want to give, because Tung and I talked about this before going into the studio, and I thought it would be worth sharing with you guys some of our thoughts. A little bit more serious now that we've had the banter, but kind of want to bring photography back into it. So it'd be nice to start with those questions. And I guess we'll do it. Let's do it like this. How about we just ask each other those questions? Okay. So we'll just take turns.
Yeah.
So since I did that intro, it was very difficult to do that introduction. How about you ask the questions?
Okay.
Yeah, first.
All right. I'm working on a photo project, but I'm keep on losing motivation. How do I keep myself going?
Can I ask you to clarify the question? Like, where do you lose motivation? Like, just during the whole process, or?
Yeah, just at any point of the process, I would lose motivation. Again, I'm just paraphrasing the question. I don't know what part this person is at.
My bad.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the shooting part, or maybe, they don't know what to shoot. They don't know where to begin.
Okay. So if I'm working on a project and we all come to this every now and then, get to a point where you just feel like, well, what's the point of doing this project? You no longer have the initial drive that you would have had in the beginning, because I do want to give a specific answer. That's why I'm bringing that up. And how do you get over that? I would get over it by not doing photography, I would look at other material, other types of media, as a way to really not really to inspire myself or anything, but really just to entertain myself. When I get too serious into something, I tend to get wrapped up in my own thoughts and my own insecurities about what I'm doing. And to kind of make everything fun again, I have to stop doing that and then do something else that's also fun for me.
Yeah.
Like music, movies, books, photo books. Look at other friends' work. Not to seek inspiration, but to entertain myself, to kind of give myself, to like breathe life into what I'm doing again. And slowly, and really a byproduct of doing that is inspiration. A byproduct of like leaving your post for a little bit is actually you get to be inspired also by the stuff that you're exposing yourself to.
I agree with that. I think anything that's worth that's worth working on or worth diving deeper into, exploring your process, you really should take a step back, right?
Yeah.
Like, in those time where you feel like you feel that uncertainty, you feel that loss of momentum, take a step back, reanalyze yourself, refresh yourself, go explore the world, or do whatever you want to do, really. But clear your mind, and then when you come back, most of the time, for me personally, I feel a lot stronger, or you come back with a different mindset, right? That's able to fill in those space that was missing.
Right. Most importantly for me, when I take myself out of what I'm doing, again, sort of using that expression, like leaving my post, I get to kind of look at my own progress from a different point of view, from like an outsider point of view. Very often had this occur to me where like I'm doing something and I think it's really cool, and then I get overwhelmed or I get demotivated, and then I step away from it. I go do something else, and I look back at it. I'm like, wow, it's not that cool. Like I see, not to say that you should see your own flaws and be even more demotivated, but you get to see it from a different point of view because you're not so deep into it. You're removed. You have been removed from it, and now you're looking at it, and you're like, well, I can be a little bit more critical about what I'm doing. And being critical is important in that, hey, I mean, honestly, if it's not worth pursuing, work on something else. Right. I've had so many projects, I've started so many projects that are just now sitting in the bin. I'll probably come back into them later on, but again, the reason why I've stopped doing them because I got overwhelmed and I walked away from it a little bit and looked at the stuff that I was making, and I was like, no, it's not worth pursuing. I'll just move on, and come back maybe.
Right. It also gave you that clarity of it's worth pursuing.
Yeah. And so you don't waste time and energy. I see a lot of people they drone on and on about one thing, and it's good, it's good pursuing, but my advice to them is if it takes so much of your life force away and you're not even enjoying it, do something else. An example from my own work is my zine Spring Action, which the very first dummy was made in 2017, but I officially published it in 2019. Like, what happened in those 2 years? Because initially I was going to pursue it even more because we did go to more of those festivals.
Yeah.
And I did take more pictures. But while doing that, and also being exposed to even more work from other photographers, I saw that what I had was actually good enough. I didn't need to enhance it even more. And the narrative, everything was already there, was already present.
Yeah.
I barely edited the 2019 version. Even I kept the same cover design, everything too.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, I think people like it. So
yeah, so that's another aspect to it, right? Sometimes the work is already there and you just need to find closure in a sense, right?
Yeah. Again, stepping away from it, looking
Mostly
at
just
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And you should be your hardest critic, if anything, but at the same time, also be realistic. If you're too hard and you just stay on one project forever, I don't know. I mean, some people like this approach, but I feel like you work on something else, maybe come back into it. Don't be, just make sure you have fun, right? Like, just make sure you have fun. All right. So now I'm going to ask you one of the questions. So how do you approach strangers on the street, if you approach strangers on the street, to take pictures of them?
Approach, well, that's really depend on my intention and what I want to do with that photo. And so a lot of the time, if I need a portrait, I'll just ask, because, and honestly, like, if I'm just a portrait, I'll chat up a conversation. I'll be honest, and I'll ask them, like, hey, can I take a picture? 9 out of 10 times, so yeah. It just, most of the time, I don't care. I know, like, one of the fact that people are like, oh, what if this, what if that, and et cetera, if people will be okay with it, on my intention. But, like, oh well, you're out here to take photos, right? Ask yourself, if your intentions are pure, then most of the time people are just gonna say yes. Any other way, I don't know, just depend on what kind of photos I want and what kind of composition I wanted for that photo, and then I just approach from there. But usually I'm kind of callous when it comes to asking people. Can't talk to girls, but will definitely ask stranger for photos. There you go.
Yeah, simple enough.
But I think I should give a warning though, and that is really reflect yourself, and assure yourself that you can handle situation. Let's say, like, somebody looking on the street and they look pretty rugged, they look pretty, but they, at the same time, they encompass something that you want to take picture of. Like, are you ready to make that confrontation, and ask yourself that as well?
Yeah.
If you have the personality, do it. Start a conversation, talk to them, be comfortable, be honest about it, and usually it works out. But at the same time, if this character looks like, you also gotta follow your guts as well. I don't know. After a while of just stomping the ground, you tend to develop that, right? And then, like, if you see a character, it's where it's kind of like, yeah, I probably won't get away with it.
Yeah.
Even if I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, I don't know, just depend. No, I'm just saying, like, you take street photos, but then be aware of what you're doing as well.
You don't have to do these things to take street photos. You don't have to do the whole Bruce Gilden approach and
That's the thing. Bruce Gilden, he's a pro. He is out there, most days. But at the same time, this is actually the same point. Yeah, I just now realized this is the same point that he said. He understands people and he knows people, and he's ready to face those people. So, and what the type of characters he takes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you yourself aren't ready for that, then don't do it. I mean,
there's also
no point in putting yourself in a dangerous situation.
And that's the problem with this kind of question. And, like, it's a valid question, but I feel like the problem with the asker and the person answering is there's never a connect, because the person asking is trying to, as perhaps they already have a specific scenario in their head, but they choose to ask a very general question, and then we answer also very broadly because we don't know, like, where you're gonna be shooting and all these other things, all the other factors that are coming into. Are you a great, do you like talking to people? Because you like talking to people, but I don't. So my approach is I just take a picture and I will just hang around. Yeah. I'm also like big, so my stature in general is not like it's threatening or anything, but it's I'm very present. I'm very, I'm out there. I'm just thick. I'm just thick in the streets. And especially when I'm walking around Vietnam, I stand out. Like I'm wearing shorts and, I look like a tourist. And whenever I take pictures, people know I'm taking pictures. I'm not trying to get away with anything.
Yeah.
So, but then again, it also depends on who you are. So that's basically the answer.
Yeah. But then we can honestly, we can tell you a bunch of different
There's
ways
just
to get out
so many.
scenario.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. If you're going to do this thing long term, you might as well go out there and do it yourself and learn from it. Because where you live is different from where I live. And so, I don't know. Go out there, experience it yourself. This is all fun of street photography, right? It's not about the photos all the time. It's about you connecting with your community or whatever you're doing. So go there and interact or just experience yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's the answer to the question.
All right, moving on. All right. Sorry, street photography is something we tend to stay too long on this. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
I think it's your turn to ask me.
Oh. What are some of the things you consider when you're starting a project?
Do I have enough pictures? All right, next question.
Ding.
I mean, yeah, no, sorry, just kidding. Do I have enough pictures, and is the timing appropriate?
Timing. If you're gonna have a project, set realistic timing for yourself, right?
Yes.
That's a biggie for me. And I'm constantly having to learn that lesson as well. Like sometimes you're like, oh, let's just knock this shit out, right? But then and then I'm working through a project and I'm like, oh shit, this is actually like taking an emotional toll on me. And I do need a break. And that's something you need to consider as well. You need to consider all aspects of yourself, materials, other people's, and just your whole well-being as well, and have realistic timing.
Mm-hmm.
To have a realistic time frame for yourself, because like if you don't, you're just gonna bum yourself out, really, right? You say, oh shit, it's already like like a month into this and I can't do it.
Let's give a moment of silence for my monthly zine idea back in 2017.
Yeah.
RIP to that. See, that was a prime example of not giving myself realistic time, like window of time frame, whatever.
That's a general life advice to you, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway,
just
career advice.
Yeah.
Anything. Give yourself a year.
Yeah. Right. There are 12 months in a year, and I was gonna have 12 zines by the end of that year, and I made 3.
Yeah.
So
3 came out.
Yeah.
Pretty good though.
So that's about a 1/4 at 25%. So did I do the math right? I think that was, anyway, 3 out of 12.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you do need a certain challenge that constantly pushing you time frame. But if you're working on something that's highly personal or something just for yourself, then just have realistic expectation.
Yeah. So, but then again, if the challenge is difficult and it's motivating you to do it, then keep at it. But if it bumps you out, then maybe rethink it. Give yourself a bit more time.
No pressure. It's only pressure to yourself, really.
Yeah. So
unless you have, of course, if it's for school,
that's true.
That's different.
Please don't take our advice if you're in school. If you're in school, listen to your teachers, right? We are not in school. Yeah, we're both
like these 3 assholes. Beautiful noise that I can take all the time I want.
No. Only one of us is actually in school right now. So yeah, maybe when it comes to like schoolwork and like giving yourself well managed, timetable, do talk to Ling about it, because she's way more organized than like the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm not organized at all.
Yeah,
Well, somewhat, but
Yeah.
not really.
chaotically, right?
Chaotic.
Yeah. So before starting a project for me, I'm just gonna get back into the question.
Yes.
Before starting a project for me is two things I consider are: do I have enough pictures, and is it the right time? Not do I have time? I always have time, but is it the right time to start this project? Regarding the first thing, what is enough really is, I mean, it depends on the kind of work that you're working on. I mean, but for me, like, having enough picture is, if I can look at a whole folder of what I have, and I can kind of visualize the end product, then that is, for me, that's enough. Where I don't quite see like the final picture yet, but I can sort of see, okay, where the things are leading up into, and the connecting points in what I have, and just kind of vaguely like, I can definitely work with this. But I'll also have to consider the fact that I don't really have that mindset of like starting when it comes to photo. By the way, starting a photo project, I kind of just accumulate a lot of photos.
Yeah.
And then at one point I look at what I have and I'm like, maybe it's time to make something out of what I have. And really that's why I mentioned, do I have enough photos? You're not supposed to do that before. Like, traditionally when people say, well, not traditionally, but usually when people say starting a new project, what they mean is like starting it from blank.
Yeah.
Like planning the shoots.
Oh, yeah. Let's clarify that.
Yeah, let's clarify, because the way we do it is not, when it comes to photo, isn't really like that. We usually just go shoot on sort of a daily basis. We collect fragments of our days. And then after a certain amount of time, we look at what we have, and then we think of something.
Yeah, it's sort of we capturing, our everyday thing, and then perhaps a internal monologue that we feel very aspired to put it out into material worlds. That's when we start a project, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's a lot more simple than
and like planning out.
Than planning out. But do you have advice for people who need to plan out a project? Like, let's say I need to go shoot like a group of people or something like that.
I can't give out advice because I'm looking for advice. To be honest, if you have any advice for me, inbox, please. My inbox is open. Tell me how to plan a project, because I'm kind of spontaneous. I like spontaneity in my photography, and so and I'm maybe I have an issue with like, I don't know. I don't have an issue with like focusing, but I never like my original idea. I never stay with my original idea, because the world is always, for me, is always so beautiful and just full of amazing things that the moment I step out of my room, I feel like my original idea is trash, and I should just follow whatever I'm seeing. You know, with like whatever like reality is showing me.
Yeah, your trajectory is a little bit different. It's more of a personal work than about something, right?
Yeah, and that's probably the problem, because I've never really done like a project like to document, like a group of people or like an issue or a phenomenon, because usually for me, I my main theme is just self-exploration. I explore who I am, past, present, and who I will be, themes like that.
And I do think that's very valid, and I think that can also be incorporated into somebody who is working on a more specific project.
Yeah.
Right. And I really do believe that like you said, if you walk out the house, whatever your assumption is, you kind of have to leave it behind, because remember, when you can't really assume your project is gonna turn out a certain way, right? Because then you yourself already set the narrative to that project.
Yeah.
And so if you were to photograph something, let yourself learn, let yourself absorb everything about it, and then at the end, once you come to that moment, that realization, whatever it is, then if you feel like your project can be concluded there, and that's when you do it. But at the same time, you have to, once you walk out the door, you really should be just a sponge and really learn from whatever you're documenting.
And to be clear, that's just one approach.
Yeah, that's just
one approach.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about photography is you can't really expect the outcome, at least for us, because I guess to also be clear by what I mean by that is we shoot primarily on film, and there's a lot of space for things to happen that we don't expect. Things like chemical failure and the film itself, and then other factors coming into it. So sometimes I guess for the most part, we're kind of trained, and also we deal with a lot of like broken cameras, things like that. And sometimes you go out shooting and then the shutter just doesn't work, right? And then you come back with like half exposed frames. And what do? Even if you're the type of person who like to plan out everything, make sure you're like, even if you shoot digital, things can also go wrong.
Yeah.
Be able to quickly change direction, to not bum yourself out, redirect that negative energy into positive energy, and then make something even better out of it, make it better than your original idea. I think that's also a merit to have. It's just good. Right. It's a good skill.
I think like this whole episode, we can sort of give some pretty good advice to somebody if they're working on. Yeah, like if you're gonna work on a specific project, be ready.
Yeah.
Know who you're gonna encounter, and have yourself prepare for that type of situation.
Yeah.
Have ample amount of time for you to work on something, and then also be open to the world that you're about to step in. Right.
Right.
I think that's it, man. If you that's some tough stuff for you to consider when you're starting a project.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
So, because I know you've been writing a lot, right? And you felt like
no.
What are you talking about? I thought you've been like having your novels and shit on your laptop.
No.
What about that? Your fish theory.
Oh, let's pretend. Oh well, that was
somebody did ask you about.
That was a while back.
Okay.
But the fishing paper.
Yeah. So do you feel like should photos always accompany by writing, or should photographer also write to improve themselves, or should it just be purely visual?
This is hard. This is difficult. If you have text with your work and the text is replacing some of the photo's potential, maybe if that is your intention, is to incorporate like your own writing because you're also a writer, then that's fine. But I still think that if you can do without it, let the photos speak for themselves. I think Alex Webb said this. A sequence is pictures having conversation.
Yeah.
And to interject that conversation with your own writing, people will read much better than they can interpret a picture. Because the information presented in any writing is always the most obvious one, I think. What do you think?
Just depend.
Yeah.
It really
all comes down to just that answer, right? It just depends. Well, what's a good example of text and images for you?
Let's use an example like your Yellow Rose, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, let's use that one. I mean, if I'm just gonna flip through it, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the text definitely brought another level to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? That really can't be achieved with just the photos. Sorry, that's just me.
That's fine.
Because
Yeah.
like
that's why I put the text there.
Yeah, because because certain things are very specific, right? Because
Yeah.
you have to understand the geographical location. You have to
Mhm.
understand where that name comes from, where that title is from,
Right.
right? There's got to be some sort of context to it. I mean, if it's just me, then it just girls
Just playing in the snow somewhere,
right?
nondescript location.
Nondescript location. But again, it because of you, that context is brought up so much more to it. And not to say that not even that it cripple anything from your image, right?
Yeah.
It just entirely something else. It's something that just supplement the
Yeah.
whole ordeal.
If you can do without writing, then you should. But
Yeah.
the reason why in Yellow Rose I added that paragraph at the end is because I considered that. I thought, well, this zine would probably make it to people outside of Texas.
Yeah.
And it did. So with that anticipation, I thought, well, I should give context because Yellow Rose is also like, it's an obscure name.
Yeah.
It comes from like this old translation of a Spanish word for a town in Texas, and it's just like, well, I should give some context.
Yeah.
I should also give context to why these pictures are worth making a zine out of for me.
Yeah.
Like what these girls mean to me, what that trip means to me. And that's why I put that writing. And that writing really serves as a sort of like here's some context.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, it enhances the pictures, but it doesn't, what I'm trying from my like previous thing that I said is I don't think text should replace pictures. That's what I like.
Okay.
If you have like an essay that you want to put in, it shouldn't take place. It shouldn't explain the pictures for the audience. It should only the paragraph I put in Yellow Rose really explains the trip.
I definitely, if you can do without the writing, do it, but it obviously it's got to be really good. I hate it. I hate writing shit, dude. I try to. We all try to write in our diaries, and then we give up in like a week into it. But we all try. We catalog. But that's why I pick pictures, man, because it's just easier. I can just take a selfie at the end of the day, and that's call it. Cool. That's my entry for the day.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I remember it. Sometime I will. But I think having text really does elevate the photos in a sense, because we all need to know a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I need to know a little bit to really open up my thoughts process, open up the world that you're trying to present to me. Because if I don't have that, I can go about it a million ways, really. Yeah. And if that's the case, and then what's the difference between your books and anybody else's book?
Right. But then I guess my problem with like adding text to any body of work is
it's still a photo book, right? It's still about the photos.
Yeah.
The text should just be some sort of
very complimentary. Like it's just super
right.
Like a little extra slip that the author wants to tell you, and they just want to put it in the photo book. But it should be invisible. It should be visible and invisible enough that once you read it, you don't base everything on that writing. And that's, for Yellow Rose, I've had like 5-6 drafts of that writing because I wrote the first few drafts, and I was like, well, I feel like my tone is taking. I don't want the audience to read it and stay on that page too long.
Yeah.
Like ideally, I want them to. That's why I put it at the end of the zine, because I want them to go through the whole journey form their opinions, form their interpretations, form their feelings, and then when they get to the context, it's like it's like a moment of either revelation or relief.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a theory about the name of the zine, and maybe they have a theory about the girls, and when you get to the explanation, it's like, oh, that's what, okay.
Bam, that Shyamalan twist.
Yeah. I think someone actually thought the girls are my nieces, by the way.
Yeah.
But someone thought they were my daughters. And see, that's why you need text. That's why you need text. Yeah. I don't know. Is there any case where you just stay on the writing and you don't look at the pictures? I don't think I've ever. I actually skipped the writing.
I take pictures, so I'm
illiterate.
I gravitate. I'm illiterate. I gravitate to visuals, and I can't help it. I always just want to get to the meat, and I want to process that, and then if I feel like I need an explanation, I'll come back to the text.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Or if there's so many ways you can do about it. You can even enhance it, or you can even go through the book editing route, right?
Right.
Yeah. Was that book? I forgot what the name was, but he did on the separation of his parents, and it was the one that Wilfred showed us. It was one side was his mom, his memory is his mom, and the other side was his dad, and he did it separately,
right?
Entirely. This is something we would have to present to you visually.
It's
because
very hard to describe
it, but in that book, once you open it, you kind of get an idea. You don't even have to. I don't think there were any text in there. It was just family photos, and
The thing visually, you can. I believe in like the power of visual storytelling. Like you kind of have to, right? I mean, I take pictures, so really, I was gonna say it's also a way for me to express my feelings without having to write, because I suck at writing. Honestly, if you like the stuff that I've written, thanks, because I don't like the stuff. You mentioned, because I do want to talk about this just because it's kind of funny, or not funny, but like it's worth mentioning. That fishing paper. A follower of Beautiful Noise Collective messaged us specifically asking for me about an essay, a little essay that I wrote that I used to have on my website. Well, I took it down now. Well, the website's still up, but that segment is down. And the essay is basically me like theorizing my relationship with photography and fishing. Funny enough, that point I made is actually, well, I thought it was unique. I had never heard anybody saying this, so I thought, for the longest time I was unique. But then, who knows? Alec Soth also thinks fishing is analogous to photography. So I was like, should I be? My point is validated, but at the same time, damn, it's no longer unique. Damn it, Alec Soth, why do you have to, steal it and then say it in front of people? I could have been the one saying fishing is analogous to photography, because I said it first, technically. I don't know. He didn't have a blog. I had a blog. So
it's whoever put it on the world first, man.
Yeah. So I think on episode 1, I mentioned it, and that's why that follower listened to it and asked me about it. But that little writing is no longer on the website. Alec Soth said it, so now I'll just be quiet. But just kidding. No, I'll probably write it again and like publish it somewhere, but probably more polished.
That's fine. At the end of the day, it's still your still your thought process, and it's
and
something dear to you.
As far as I know, Alec Soth doesn't fish, and so I fish, so probably want to hear from me. Just saying. Yeah,
he's out here decimating the Texas wildlife population, just constantly whipping at the poor swimming creatures. But if you have any more questions, just feel free to send it in. We're pretty free to. If you want us to answer it, straight there, that's fine too. Or we can answer on our podcast or any other format. Feel free to let us know. yeah, we really appreciate the questions that you guys send in. It's
Some
fun.
of them weren't directed at us though, but you know.
Oh yeah,
still,
yeah.
Just
Some
in
of that,
general, just in general, all the questions.
yeah.
Do send us more questions. We really
Yeah,
enjoy
fun.
receiving questions from the community. As a reminder, I know I already said this in the last episode, but I feel like I should say it again. We have a Patreon, and I know right now if you go on our Patreon page, you'll see that we only have like one post on there. Don't be discouraged. We're gonna be posting a lot more, and you know, again, all of that will be bonus content for our patrons. One of the benefit of just supporting, I think, was it like $2 a month?
Yeah.
Is that you get to be on our Discord chat server.
Just once.
Yeah. And we're always on Discord. And it's a little bit, you know, and of course I know everybody can still message us on Instagram. But on Discord, we're a little bit different. We're more
I will actually be on there because I know I'm rarely around.
And you get to talk to individual ones
in like full conversation.
Yeah, because I know like Beautiful Noise is run by 4 people, and you never know who's on. I still don't know who's on. Yeah. Every now and then I see someone posting something like, this looks like Jung, so and I just assume it's him. But yeah, with our Discord, you get to reach out to the 4 of us directly. You can even call us. If you like to call us and talk, but we'll probably have like more direct conversations with you on Discord.
We will definitely make more content for you that obviously seem more worthwhile for you to support, but we have a lot in store, and that's on will be out soon. I
was gonna say, regardless of like, we're still gonna be making stuff. Yeah. So honestly, it's fun for us. Like this is actually really fun. Yeah. It's just that, you know, it for the long run it makes it a lot easier because we all have our full-time jobs and school and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to be able to like put more effort into this, a little bit of support from you guys would be awesome. So just want to say that.
That's it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. This is Coke.
This is An.
And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Ôi bạn ơi, bạn sức đề kháng kém là do Banh ơi bạn, là do bạn không chơi đồ đấy bạn ạ. Nếu bạn chơi đồ vào thì đề kháng khỏe nó không bao giờ bị ốm đâu bạn ạ. Chơi đồ là thuốc bổ mà bạn.